We're already
On
live on
Facebook?
YouTube, so
All right, let's.
we're gonna go live. The video frame does seem to be okay.
Of mine or being a little leggy or the straight through from the whole system?
No, it's going. It's straight through, so everything seems to be working. If it's not, hopefully somebody's. Kevin is already here. Kevin was waiting. Just boom.
Kevin.
And Chris Sheffler.
Beautiful.
Kevin Money and Chris Sheffler.
Chris.
Boys, we
My
need your
man.
help. We're testing. We're trying new software. We're doing all sorts of weird, new, wonderful things. So we need you to let us know ASAP if anything is wrong. I need to know if the audio is off sync. I need to know if the video is off sync. I need to know anything. It's live. Of course, it's live.
Yeah,
so
we're live. And Facebook, YouTube is live as well too. So if you want to check it out there and make sure everything's running over there.
Yeah, so that's
Big
something
help.
we need to figure out. Is I don't know what the URL is for that. I don't know how to send people to that.
This is the first time we're early and we totally jumped the gun.
Right?
If any of you go to the YouTube live post, it starts with me just eating pizza for like 3 minutes.
It's awesome.
Because I didn't even know that we were live yet. So there you go.
It's
Behind the
awesome. And
scenes.
so far, the chat program that we were hoping to use is not working at all.
So the main attraction to
The main
this
attraction.
software
Now,
is
luckily,
not working.
I didn't pay up front. It's like
Smart
I got a
man.
week,
30-day
We got
trial.
right? 7-day trial. We got one shot at this to make it work. Otherwise,
Get them
we're
on
out,
technical service while we're going.
right? Otherwise, we're out some money. Sizzle, my man, what is happening?
So,
Sizzle, I went looking for that picture of you, and I couldn't find it. So, buddy, I need you to find it. I need you to screen cap it, crop it. I don't care how you do it.
post it in
Send
the comments.
I want to see the picture of you rocking that T-shirt. Marc Andre, Chris Shefflo, Kevin,
Fellas.
gentlemen, thank you for jumping on. Thank you for being here. If anybody wants to do us a huge favor and try and find us on YouTube, that would be fantastic, and let us know if it's working or not.
Yeah, I've only got one screen going, and it's basically back of our Skype chat here. So if anyone can check that out and kind of let us know if it's cutting out or anything
you know
like
what?
that, that'd be big.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna hunt it down.
You've
so-
got two screens.
I need a third.
Brian's son.
Right? Exactly. Hey, there it is. There it is. Look at that. I found us.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Is it on the same thing? There we
Found
go.
us. We're gonna copy that link. We're gonna show. We'll do after the show. What do you mean after the show? It's live on YouTube. Kevin's gone to look. Fantastic. So
Okay. Simulcast. Is that what they call it? Simulcast?
Simulcast? I guess. I don't know. I just call it. It's
I don't
just we're off there. So for everyone watching, the 4 people that decided to stick around and listen to us.
Oh, I can hear that.
Yeah, my bad. So, sorry, I'm typing and I'm being a total millennial.
Doing too many things at once?
No, I'm texting like on my phone. That doesn't look like spam at all on a live stream. Check us out on it. Gives like a link to another stream. So
Looks good in like the smallest print and like, bury it at the bottom all the time. Yeah.
So the whole point of tonight's episode, this week's episode, was that honestly I just didn't want to have any guests. I wanted to just like sit back, chill, relax, talk about what's going on, what's coming up. You know, the season's pretty much to an end now. We've got a couple of winter games left, but that's about it. I think we're winding down now, and we're going to be looking for that paintball itch here real soon. So I figure we'd
Very soon.
reminisce.
Well, one big thing that's got me going right now is that I guess the thing with the season coming to an end is I'm in the market to start placing some purchasing for some gear. So I'm trying to work on a belt setup, trying to purchase some gear. But now I'm like, if I order it, it's going to take 2-3 weeks to get here. When am I going to get the chance to test it out? So now I'm like, do I buy it now and just like sit on it for 4 months or until I can sneak out for another winter game or, something like that? Or, wait till I'm actually getting ready to go and buy it. And it's that kind of cut of the season time that's making it difficult. Normally I would, if I had the funds, I'd just jump on it right away, but to put it to use right away. But this is one of the times I've had a dilemma where I'm like, it's in the shopping cart and I just haven't checked out yet because I'm like, I might not get to use it. And I'm like, what could I do with that money between now and then instead of just sitting in my gear bag? That's like another game of paintball or a couple bags of paint or a box of First Strikes. There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, I only heard half of what you said.
No worries.
I'm
I put my heart out here, Brad. No one's fucking listening.
I'm trying to figure out this
kidding.
software on the fly because it only works when you're actually live.
See,
so I have no idea.
Exactly. Yeah. So what I was saying is that you're at that cutoff point. Like, are you itching for any new gear right now?
Me? Yes.
Yeah. So what are you in the market for?
I'm actually in the market for and I hate to say it because I'm going to say it really quietly, but I kind of need a sight.
For First Strike shooting at least?
For
at
First
least
Strikes. Yeah,
okay, there you
for
go.
First Strikes. So I need I need a site for First Strikes. I want a bipod.
Doing the sniper. Oh, that's right. You're building one of your TGRs into a sniper setup, aren't you?
Yeah. So I need some low-profile mags. So MaxTac makes a small mag, similar to the G mag. They make a tiny one. So I want one of those, and
very key.
And I just need a rifle barrel, and done. So
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the scope that sight scope, whatever you want to call it, that Josh used at Operation End War worked very well for him. And I picked one up myself and intended to use it at Operation End War. And then my suitcase came out of the luggage carrier with a pocket opening, and I lost my riser that I needed to use it. So I didn't end up getting to use it, but if you ever want to try it or pick one up, it was like $60 or $70 on Amazon, like shipped, ready to go. So nice little scope. Josh will vouch for you on it. He got a lot of kills with it at Operation End War. I think probably more than me and you.
Oh man, Josh was just cleaning up, man. He was just cleaning up. Okay, so this. Sorry, I'm playing around with this app trying to make sure that it's working, and I don't think it is. I'm not getting any of the comments are coming through, so that's kind of disappointing me.
Well, you don't pay up front until we learned our lesson. Whatever, we still got our crew here on Facebook
what? I
going.
can still see the comments on the left-hand side here, so it's all good. Because Kevin's saying it's good, but you can't comment on the YouTube video, which is a little strange. So
that is strange. Yeah. That is weird.
So Sizzle sent the photo through Facebook Messenger. We're going to grab that real quick, and we're going to show that off because that is just badass.
Does Sizzle have a patch already? That might have earned him a patch if he doesn't have one already.
Sizzle, do you have a patch, Sizzle? Sizzle's got a T-shirt, so...
Yeah, that's why I'm assuming he's got the patch.
Currently, so... Wow. Okay, I need to get the bearing straight because we're moving in 1,000 different directions here. So, yeah. So
put the app away. Focus on Facebook.
Yeah, now I'm just trying to get Sizzle's picture up. that's my main mission right now. Is to get this picture up because it's a pretty badass picture of Sizzle.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'll check it out once it's up.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. It's gonna be awesome. So
Sizzle or anybody else in the group, then let's see if you guys can help us fill in the gap while he's fucking
there
around.
We go.
There you go. Anybody else in the market for new gear?
Sorry, just Sizzle looking badass as hell in that T-shirt. Loving it. Yeah, so what are you guys looking for? So Sizzle's saying...
I don't have the Facebook feed live, so now I have to hop on the Facebook.
There you go. Sizzle says he's currently building himself a Takamo Hurricane for First Strike, just waiting on the lock bolt, and it's ready.
You see me squinting at my computer, it's because I'm old.
Sizzle,
everything.
We have no patches left. I would send you a patch. I would send you a patch just for wearing that T-shirt.
Hello.
At the event that you were at.
This doesn't seem good.
Flying
Brad, I lost sound for you, buddy. I don't know.
You lost sound.
Feels kind of weird. Oh, I turned the volume down all the way. Are you there now?
I never left.
I'm just sitting here like rambling, going on. I couldn't hear a thing. I was like trying to pull up the Facebook stream, but I know when I do it, it was going to turn the volume up. So what did I do? Turn the volume down on my computer all the way, and did not piece it together that was the reason why I
panicked. It was just like,
I was like,
Patches.
It's really scary, actually. It was like super quiet, and I was like, I couldn't see the Facebook feed. I'm like, am I here by myself? Am I like, can anybody hear me? I felt alone. It was kind of scary.
I noticed. Okay, so Sizzle wants a patch. Tucker's talking about patches. Kevin looking for a MagFed marker and a new loadout. Kevin, are you new to MagFed? Because if you are, buddy, we could talk to you for like an hour and a half, and we could just talk MagFed to you, at you. So we have no more patches. Unfortunately, we are fresh out of patches. There are none left.
Ooh, hot commodity. Now that you got to trade for them now. Find someone who's got one and trade for.
There's currently 99 patches. Sorry, 99, 98, 97, 96. There's currently 96 patches in the wild somewhere. 96 individuals have these patches. I'm not including us because
we're the 4.
Right?
Okay.
There are 96 patches out in the wild, so if you find one, steal it. No, don't. Don't do that. That being said, though, there are 96 patches out there, so if you can find somebody who's willing to maybe trade for it, maybe they don't actually need it, maybe they got it at one of the events, because I have a terrible habit of just whipping these things into crowds.
That's a good way to do it.
Well, it's true, because I remember when we first got them, and we were looking at it, we're like, man, if we sell these for X number of dollars, we can pull a profit, and then we can invest that money back into the podcast and traveling and all that. And then I just ended up throwing patches into crowds.
Make it rain.
Alfred Bear's one of them. He's got one of those patches.
All right. So what else? What were some of the other gear people were looking for? I missed that. I'm trying to go back through the comments. But I'm not very...
So far, just Sizzle's looking for his lockbolt. Kevin says he's looking for a MagFed marker and a new loadout. So the guys are just looking for everything. So that might be. You know what? That might be a good. What are we going to call it? We got to come up with an official name of it. After Dark? No, that sounds sketchy.
It does. Don't bring your children.
But we need to do. We need to get those extra episodes up and running. Jesus. Okay, so
James?
I'm gonna explain to everyone. I'm on cough medicine and like cough pill, like cold pills, so I'm not here.
Okay, focusing.
Ashley, I remember, I sent you some patches, and yes, your kids stole them. That's hilarious. So William says he needs radios, he needs boots, he needs gloves. Radios, Bofang's.
Bofang. No other choice. Yeah.
Go Bofang's. Boots, I'm a big fan of Swats myself, but honestly, try a bunch on.
Yeah, like I've got Swats that have treated me very well, but after 3.5 years, my foot is or 3 years, my foot is going to like blow through the bottom of them. Like I can't even zip them up.
I'm actually looking at. I think Ripple has them. I know Tier 1 distributes them, but it's a manufacturer called Lola. It's a Lola boot.
They're awesome, but they're very expensive, are they not? Like Swats are in like the 100 to 200 range, and those are in the 2 to 3, are they not?
Yeah, so they are expensive, but they are essentially Swats on steroids, is what they are.
Sweet.
So you'd never, like where your boot's worn out after 3 years, this boot shouldn't wear out at 3 years. If it did, I'd be pissed. So I'm experimenting with boots. I'm going to try and find a new pair.
What are you in college?
Alfred Bear says he wants the new PPQ from MCS.
PPQ. That's the
50 cal, 43 cal.
Oh right, yeah, the Walther. Yes.
Yeah. So that looks pretty sexy.
Okay.
I am interested in the compact pistol from First Strike. That is.
I am too, because one of those things I'm in the market for right now is a holster, Kydex.
Right.
And I actually had like a long chat with Benjamin Tubbs from Bear Tactical, and he got me like totally sorted out with what I wanted. But because like a Tipex is so fucking big, the handle rides like super high up your side. And so he has a product actually that works like a 3-inch drop down, which puts the handle right at your belt height, which is pretty standard for like a real steel. And so that's kind of what I've settled on, is what I'm waiting to pull the purchase on. But it's having that compact one would be nice. You probably wouldn't even need that drop down. Like it is small. Like you could carry that pretty close to how you would carry a real pistol.
Yeah,
Definitely looks pretty sweet.
it does. The price tag is kind of steep. I get it, but it's supposed to be a really good marker. So who we'll see. Well, who knows, right?
It's 350 US or 350 Canadian? I couldn't remember.
U.S. You're looking at almost well over $400.
Yeah, Canadian.
So it's double the price of a Tipex.
And it's the small mag capacity that worried me a little bit as well. 5-6 round mag capacity, I think, is what they're putting in it. And I know you can get an extended, but are they like the old T8 extendeds where they have that huge rod that like comes down the side? Or
Nobody's seen it yet, or at least I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, that's the thing. Is this marker is really expensive, and I don't know if it's going to be worth it yet or not. That being said, though, we also have to keep in mind that the marker coming from First Strike is a very, very small, very one of a kind kind of pistol. You know what I mean? It's 68 cal, but it's compact. They're probably not going to sell a lot of them, and that's why the price is so high.
Well, they probably have to figure out how many they're going to sell, and maybe they can, find the price and find the right price point and adjust from there. But yeah, that 350 is probably going to keep me out unless they're, stellar reviews. I'm usually not one to buy something like right as it comes out.
Yeah.
Except for my M5 because I knew that was going to be the shit. But yeah, other than that, I'm not really one to pick one up right away. So I usually wait for a good review, see what's up, but that'll probably be the key for me is like hearing what people have to say about it. What's the efficiency? The part that kind of confuses me and blows my mind about it is that they say it'll take T81 mags, take the old school mags, if I understand correctly, from the pistols. Yep. But the grip is smaller. So that I don't really understand is that like, if you think about it on the old T81, it's not like the plastic on the grip was crazy thick and was like adding centimeters on each side. I'm kind of intrigued how they pull this one off. So it'd be interesting to see.
I'd like to. Yeah, I'm a little curious too. I know that we're already seeing. Sorry, I'm trying to get the right thing to load up. Here we go. You can already see Eric Angler has already been modding them.
Yes, I did see that. He is like the man with modding shit on the Tiberius lines and up like that.
He really is. Yeah. So I've just put that photo up for anyone who's interested in looking at it. But it's so the guy's already found a way to mod a bunch of it, which is very cool. I don't know if it's.
So that drop down to ASA, assuming. That just basically looks like the Rap 4 one, but a hell of a lot more compact.
Yeah. But what I'm worried about is I don't know the internals on that. I have like next to no information on those images. So I don't know if the air runs through it properly, if it's like a weird remote setup, if it's,
Gotcha.
So I think we just need to wait for these things to get into the wild. Until we finally get some good reviews on them, right? Of course, anyone from First Strike's going to say they're amazing, and I wouldn't expect them to say anything else. So hopefully they're going to be really nice. Hopefully it's super efficient, long range, and just like the best pistol ever made. Who knows? It very well could be.
I hope so, because they do shoot First Strikes. The Tiberius markers. Maybe I have no surprise there, but they do shoot them better than the Tipex. Like I have, when my T81 was working regularly, it did shoot First Strikes very, very well. My Tipex has never successfully fired First Strikes with a First Strike block, Zeta mags, PMC mags. I've never tried it out of the standard 7-rounders because I assumed that would fail.
Yeah.
But so that's what I've always wanted, a good First Strike pistol. Not that it's like super necessary. I tend to use my pistol pretty close up, but hell, never hurts to have it as a backup.
True. Absolutely. Tucker Danielson's talking about the MCS shotguns. He wants, with a Condor shotgun Scarab on my back for CQB fun. Those shotguns are a hell of a lot of fun. I really wish we would have been coherent enough to get video of racking those things.
It was very cool. You were like hitting people with the shells.
Yeah,
I remember. Weren't you like hitting KT, like racking it, and then just like the shells like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, the harder you rack it, the further it throws the.
Yeah.
You okay there, bud?
Yeah, my head was getting itchy.
the harder you rack it, the farther it throws the shell, which was a ton of fun. So we had a blast playing around with those. Unfortunately, we didn't get to fire it, but it was really cool. The shells are relatively cheap. Somebody had said that they were supposed to be like $8 or something, which I don't know if that's true or not, but something I should look into.
Well, at least they have the shell ejection bag, which catches the shells for you, but then it takes away all the coolness of ejecting shells. So it's like it's this catch-22 of like wanting to look cool and dropping $8 shells all over the place.
Exactly.
You know what I did see today though, and it's actually up on the Magfed Woodsball raffles group and I mean, there's not a lot of details, but it to me looks like a 45 caliber revolver converted to shoot 43 cal paintballs out of real caliber shells. Brad, if you have a chance, did you see that today? It was.
I did.
So he said he's willing to ship to Canada, but if that's a real steel marker, a real steel pistol, a real Colt that he's basically just like run an airline through it in some way, and I don't even understand. He doesn't even explain how it fills with air. Like, is it CO2 in the grip? Are the shells? Do they hold the air? I can't figure this thing out, but it looks like the coolest fucking marker around. And he test fires it. Yeah, grab a pic of it and throw it up because it is like he even has a little test video where he fires it, and it looks like a custom, early 20th century revolver that shoots 43 cals out of real. I'm assuming he modded 45 caliber shells, and he sells it with 18, or he's raffling it with 18 shells. And
so I've got the image.
Badass as fuck.
I'm gonna pull it up here. It is very cool looking. I can see how trying to bring that into customs.
Oh, would be a no-go.
Yeah, might set off a few red flags.
I would think so, because there's probably not much stopping you from converting that back into a real revolver, because literally you load the shells in, and they're real shells. He's just drilled the primer out, is what he shows in the video.
That's exactly
so there's
what it
no
is.
Primer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's genius, but yeah, take a look at that. That's
insane.
Yeah.
It really
and
is.
he's got a couple pics of it loaded up with 43 cals in the end. I mean, it's ridiculous. He took a fire at it from what looked like 10 or 15 feet, and it was like you were trying to line up with the camera with the sights. You're like, it should hit about there, and it hit 12 inches off to the left. So maybe the accuracy might not be the greatest. It is 43 cal, but it looks fucking sweet. And if I thought I could get that in Canada, I would bid on that right now. And in the comments, he's like, if you live in Canada, feel free to bid on it. If customs takes it away, that's
15,
tough
20
luck,
bucks,
right?
Sizzle in the comments here. He says, speaking of FS, he says in April 2018, he's going to general. It says General a soda. I think that's a typo. But he says he's going to general for the second annual First Strike only game in Michigan.
Oh, that's with Sage Honey and Jeanette Truba and those guys out of Michigan in Magfed, Michigan.
Yeah, he wants us to come down. Plenty of time to save and plan. Now,
April.
Absolutely. I wonder, Michigan. How far away is Michigan?
See, Michigan's not far from Toronto, I don't think. So what we should do is we should do a combined event where we find a time to hit a Toronto game and then boot across the border, hit the game in Michigan, boot back to Toronto, and fly back.
Yeah. If we could fly into Toronto for cheap and then rent a car from Toronto to Michigan, or fly from Toronto to Michigan?
No, definitely rent a car, I think. I don't know if maybe someone who knows the distance would let us know whether that's a smart idea or not. But
if only I had this thing in my hand that had the whole of human knowledge on it. Let's do Toronto to Michigan.
Okay, Toronto to Michigan. Michigan's a state, if I'm not mistaken, or am I going to sound like an idiot just for a second?
Well, yeah, Michigan is technically a state.
Okay, yeah. So, we have to, pick a spot
we'll have to find out where. Okay, Sizzle, where in Michigan am I going? Because Michigan's a real big place. Well, actually, it's really tiny compared to our provinces, but it's still big. It's a 6-hour drive. It takes more time to get to Ottawa.
So if we were trying to do a PRZ, we're talking like 8 hours from PRZ down to Michigan, depending on where. But that would be sick.
Yeah, and that's actually to like the farthest point of Michigan.
Okay.
So
That's not too bad. That's something, I mean, it could be done. It'd be hard to do like a Saturday, Sunday game. We'd probably have to find something that was like a long weekend where they had. Now, Ontario's got a lot of Saturday games, though. I don't know what time they do their games in Michigan, but Saturday.
We'd have to figure it out. That's definitely like go to work and be like, I need Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off, kind of thing, or book a week's vacation and roll with it.
I still wish we had an extra day in San Francisco when we were down there. It was pretty much like from the airport, cruise around, picked you up, head out, and on the way back we were like, we'll totally have time, and we like barely fucking made it.
Yeah. There's another one for us that might be interesting.
What's
Operation Brass Leaf. It's a Meg-Fed only game being hosted by SAS Ottawa at a Commando Paintball.
That would be pretty sweet. I've never heard of that. Out of Commando, big group, Commando, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I'd be down for a Meg-Fed only game at Commando.
Definitely.
It's probably a ton of fun.
Hell yeah.
So let's talk, because I want to get the whole 9 people that are watching opinion on something. Which, give me 2 seconds here, and I will actually have what I need, because I'm not fully prepared.
Who could have guessed?
Right? Never prepared. If I was prepared, no, that's not going to work. So, traveling. Let's talk traveling. So, somebody mentioned that in the beginning. I'm trying to find the comment. Somebody had asked about traveling because you travel all the time and they want some tips.
Let's hear it.
So,
or should I begin with the tips now? Is there anything specific they want to know? Or the big one you always hear, and we've gone over it like 100 times on the show, but the big one for traveling is there is nothing special you have to do with your gear to fly, at least within Canada and the US. You put it in your bag, you take your rag off your tank, that is, and don't bring CO2s. That's pretty much it. Half the time they'll miss them if you bring them anyhow, but occasionally you'll find the one that you left like in your pocket or inside your Tipex, and they'll make you take your whole bag apart. But if you've got your rag off your tank and no CO2s, you've got no problems. We've flown WestJet, we've flown Air Canada, flown United, flown American Airlines, flown Delta, flown a combination of all those in a single trip. And absolutely no one had an issue the whole way. The trick is that you do your little check-in at the kiosk, you print off your baggage tags, you get your boarding passes, you walk right on over to oversized luggage, chuck it on the scanner, they'll scan it right in front of you. If there's any issues, you got to take it out. You take it out right in front of them, your bag goes through, you're done. And that's the number one thing for traveling and flying.
And Bob's your uncle.
Exactly. One thing we haven't done is driving over the border, though. So
with driving over the border, because I've had experience, good and bad, with border security, is...
They're not as nice.
No, because they get a lot more sketchy people trying to get across the border, so they're on higher alert at the border itself. Biggest thing is you got to be upfront and perfectly honest with them. Like tell them like straight up when they say, "Do you have anything to declare?" You tell them like, "I have paintball equipment in the car."
And you use the right words, paintball equipment. You don't have to tell them it's a marker, you have pistols, or it's Meg-Fed. It's just paintball equipment.
Yeah, that's all you say is paintball equipment. And some of them will say like, "Yeah, you're fine, go ahead." Others will say, "Okay, I need to inspect it." Whatever. And don't put up a fight. Don't give them shit. Don't lie, because these people will catch you in your lies. Because you're gonna keep in mind, like you tell them, like, yeah, I'm going down for a paintball game in such and such place. They will go and look up that game, and they'll find out if it's in that place, and they'll ask you questions about it. They'll ask you where you're from, what you've done, who like if they're suspicious, they'll pull you aside. But if you're just,
they'll be like, "Who's Mike Lovato? What's Operation End War?" Yeah.
Right? They'll just be honest with them and all, and don't be a dick to them. Like, be professional, be courteous, be nice, because as soon as you give them attitude, that's when they're just like, "I'm tearing your car apart," because they have that authority.
And sometimes they're just going to do that anyhow, and there's nothing you can really do. But
we had an experience driving back. We went to New Hampshire one time, and this isn't paintball related, but that gives you an idea of the mentality of border security. We went to a metal show. And we come back, I'm hungover as hell in the back seat. I've got a 6-inch mohawk at the time, which I used to have a mohawk.
Oh wait, didn't we see those photos? Sorry to interrupt, but didn't we see those photos? Didn't Brad or Brian show us some like high school
Yeah.
photos,
Yeah.
some blunder years, as it might be called?
That I phased into existence at 23. Anything before that wasn't me.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm hungover as hell in the back. They stop us. They go, Buddy's obviously in a good mood because he looks at me and he goes, let me guess, you guys are coming back from that metal show? I'm like, fuck, how'd you know? He's like, I've seen a lot of people with your haircut come through. Like, he's just and pointing at me, right? And he's like, you guys got anything to declare? We said, yeah, we've got $250 worth of groceries in the trunk of the car. Here's the receipts. He goes, no, I don't need them. Go ahead. You're fine. So it just lets us go. He could have technically charged us taxes on the groceries, but he's like, whatever, you're fine.
Paper.
The car
like
behind
100
us,
bucks.
full of our friends, he stops them and goes, what are you coming through for? And they stuttered. They're like, and as soon as they stuttered and they got nervous, he's like, nope, pull the car over.
Yeah.
So we sat there eating Cookie Crisp and drinking Arizona while we watched our friend's car get torn to pieces. Right?
Like I was saying, there's nothing you can do sometimes. I've gone on a trip down for a Jay-Z show to the States, and we didn't even get to say anything. They just were like, pull over, we're tearing your car apart.
Yeah, you've been randomly selected.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which, if you remember too, whenever we fly together, I get randomly selected for the hand swab. Like every single time. Every time. I was telling about it, Josh, that like before we got to the airport for the last one, and the whole way through, I get hit with the hand swab. They're like random. I'm like, I don't think it's so random anymore. I don't buy it. I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
You know what it is? I think it's because you travel too much.
That could be it.
You travel too much.
They should know I'm like a standby person, though.
You know what? But if anyone's going to abuse the system and move something, it's going to be somebody who's flying standby. Somebody who knows the system. Right? That's probably what it is.
Do you know what's pretty sad, though?
What?
I'm bumped off my travel privileges right now. I don't have WestJet. Yeah, my
she wife is actually. For a friend?
She bumped me off for a friend, and they are in Belgium right now. And I'm sitting at home, and she's sending photos, and it's like shitty and cold, and she's having fun. And I'm getting messages from Evan being like, "Oh, we missed you at Wildlands." Because there was a Wicked event apparently, and Wildlands event was put on by R&D. Can't remember if they call it developments afterwards or whatever. But paintball events, and it was MegFed only game done in the Tom Clancy's Wildlands format. Apparently, it was sick. Like I was chatting with Evan Henshaw, and he was telling me he was wondering why I wasn't out there, and I had to let him know I'm bumped until the new year. So there's even a game coming up on the 18th. That's another MegFed only event. I can't remember which field it's at in Ontario, but I wanted to hit like both of these back to back, and my wife was just like, "Nope, sorry, can't go. Have to pay regular person prices." And I'm like, I can't afford to do that shit.
Welcome to my world.
I know. That's why we're planning now for next year. We're still looking for suggestions. We appreciate the ones we got so far, but yeah, we need to find some good games.
First Strike Only game in Michigan, man. That'd be a ton of fun.
And that would be a pretty reasonable expense-wise, because we can do it from Toronto and boot over the border, and there's cheap places to stay around there. So we could probably make that one happen.
Sure. And we've got friends in Toronto. We find a place to stay.
Oh, yeah. And Sage, Honey, and Jeanette are fucking awesome. I met them down at Dominion, and they are great. And I know they run the show down there. So
perfect. So we've got friends all over the place, so I'm sure we can find ways. The only catch is like car rental, gas, food. That shit ain't cheap. So
no,
let's get into something, because I want these people's opinion, because I finally got it all set up.
All right, let's dive in.
Let's dive into a touchy subject. I'm almost nervous to actually talk about it. It's really strange. I haven't been nervous about anything with the podcast in like a year and a half.
I'm with you. I'm like, because when you brought it up too, I was like, it could go either way. It could.
It'll either be embraced and people will be like, absolutely, or they're going to be like, you're bastards for trying to do this, and we're done with you, and the podcast dies. And the podcast dies tonight.
Yeah. No, it's actually not that dire, because it really doesn't affect anybody that doesn't want to. So
right. So I'm just going to post up a screen cap there. So we've decided to create a Patreon page for the podcast. So the reason we're doing this is, like I said, when we do those patches, we paid to have those patches made, and then we just threw them into the crowd, and we didn't make any money. So, so the link is there. It's patreon.com/Maritime Milsim Podcast. Now, as with, sorry, I'm going to transition back. As with all, Patreons, there's the rewards, right? So there's the rewards and the reasons, so the goals. So the main goal is we just want to raise some money to first to get some patches made for the 2018 season, right? And then that'd be the first thing to do. Figure people love the patches. We want a new design out there. Patches cost money to have manufactured, so we want to raise some money to get there. And
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and then after the patches, there's just the regular cost of running the podcast, which is like the new hosting service has monthly service fees and all this little shit. So, right. I mean, it's not, nothing too crazy, but
no, on average.
Sorry, buddy.
Between hosting and streaming software, or not software, but streaming services and stuff that we're using now, we're upwards of, give or take $30-$40 a month to keep this thing going. That's what's paid, and that actually comes out.
Nothing ridiculous, yeah.
No, it's not. It's not ridiculous. That is a very reasonable amount of money to get this out in the world. Now, keep in mind, we're using open source streaming software and more or less hacked together equipment.
Yeah. So this microphone has taken like more falls than anyone knows. So if I sound like I'm in like the other room, I swear I'm up close.
Kevin money. Yes, more patches. I need one. I know you need one, Kevin, but patches cost money.
We were also thinking about like tech mats was another option we were looking at, but
so I found a supplier to get tech mats made. The only problem was they would only make 50 of them as the minimum, and they wanted, I think after shipping and everything, it was going to come to what, $500 Canadian to have 50 of them made or something. Like it was, which actually breaks down to about $10 a piece.
Which isn't outrageous either, but
no. When you say it's only going to cost me $10 a piece, but at the same time, when we'd have to dish out $500 to get 50 of these things made, it's a lot of money, and that's money I don't have. That's money.
We're poor East Coasters,
right? We're
East Coast. It's one of the things I think, and we'll take a slight detour just for a sec. One of the reasons why I don't think First Strike is that popular out here is because no one can really afford to buy them out here.
Yeah. We're like, people always joke, like, oh, the Maritimers are poor. We really are.
Yeah.
But the province I am in New Brunswick, the province is actually, they did a study and they found out that 60% of the province of New Brunswick does not work. They are either on welfare or they are retired.
Or like underage or overage, right?
No.
So like of the...
It's not even underage. It's either 60% of us are on welfare or retired. Yeah.
That's insane.
So 60% of the population is pulling a pension or pulling some sort of government paycheck and not like giving back to the workforce in any way. That's why the province is like collapsing in on itself.
Hey, come over here to Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia is actually, Halifax is doing its own little boom right now. It's pretty wild, actually.
We're working on it. Might see what happens.
Yeah, don't be sick. You guys got to get out here. We miss you. Not that you're ever really here full time before.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So we started the Patreon page simply as an idea is that if anyone wanted to support us, it would be very much appreciated. So we came up with some rewards, which we'll go into detail on the rewards, but let's just rip through them. So the first one is just like the $1+ per month. Every month we'll give you a personal shout out on the podcast for being awesome. Exclusive access to the Maritime Milsim podcast. We're calling it right now the After Dark. We're going to try to change that name, which is going to be a podcast audio, which we're only going to release sort of private.
Ooh, audio only. I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be private.
Reasons that you will understand.
Yeah, it's going to be private. It's going to be totally hidden away from except for those who are actually supporting us on Patreon. It'll be a feed that only you'll have access to, and I'll make sure you get access to it. And then the ability to submit challenge ideas for our new challenge segment, which is, I'll get into that in a minute.
Okay. I was wanting to, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Then we'll get into there. $5+ per month basically gets you all the previous stuff. Keep in mind, this is all the previous stuff, but $5 a month plus. We're going to give you 48-hour early access to the challenge videos, which are going to be funny. They're not going to be anything serious. Well, maybe, but there's going to be a lot of laughing.
I would hope so.
There's going to be a ton
and a lot of
it's gonna
failing, I think.
Yeah,
There's
it's
going to
gonna
be a lot of
failing.
trying to complete these challenges and failing.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of stupid stuff like that. And then the insane is $10 plus per month, so it's $10 or more. Basically, we're going to give you first dibs. First, well, you know, if you're in town, we'll give you first dabs. First dibs on any podcast swag by a whole week. So if we do come up with something that we're selling, we're gonna give you a whole week ahead of time to buy it. And then every year on your birthday, we're going to send you a small but thoughtful and meaningful swag bag of podcast stuff. So that could be, it could be a patch and a tech mat and something else. It could be as small as, a T-shirt. We don't really know yet because we don't have a lot of money to work with. So,
you're our guinea pigs is what you're hearing right now. Is that so? Basically, the main one I think that's going to be the draw for this is one of the ideas we've been having lately is like, we're always thinking of, what can we improve for the show? What can we put up for new content? One of the things that we really thought would give us an edge, or not an edge, but new content would be is filming off our little podcast and filming when we're on the field or in the staging area and trying to complete challenges or I don't know, certain objectives or something like that. So my kind of idea, and where the idea I think originally came from, is that I don't know if any of you are, but I'm a huge Top Gear fan. And Top Gear is a great show about cars that appeals to people who don't like cars. And the idea is because they're always goofing off and having fun and doing little challenges, using random, vehicles or whatever they need to just do something fun. And I think that was something we wanted to try here. So, challenges like, using the most basic or the oldest marker you can find and trying to get a certain, get a kill or get something like that. Do, first one of us to get 5 kills on camera and gets it recorded in a single round. The other 2 people will have to fail a challenge or, have to do, a loser's, humiliation something, So just like general idea of adding some extra content that will also be a part of the show here. We'll be adding it in kind of between our little chatting clips. But for our Patreon guys, they'll get a little extra early access to it and can even suggest challenges for us. So I kind of think it's a neat idea. Give us a little something extra to do on the show. Get you some footage that you don't really see, us on the field, off the field, as well as our regular shit you're seeing us do right now.
Right. I think the video feed is frozen on Facebook, unfortunately. I don't know if anyone could let me know if that's up and running properly. YouTube's working great.
No, I've got the Facebook feed going, and it's working great for me.
Okay, so it's just my problem then. Sweet.
Yeah, it's just
on my end that I'm happy. So that's what we did. We've decided to go try and do a Patreon page. Now, the thing with Patreon, and the nice thing about it, is that it's totally voluntary. So if you guys don't want to do it, don't feel like you have to. And I don't want anyone to think there's no.
We won't shame the viewers that we'll have our list of Patreon people and the people who don't Patreon. It's not a big deal. If you feel like it, If you don't, you don't.
It's just that's something we're sort of playing around with, and we thought, what the hell? Why not? We'll try it and see what happens. So it's there. It's an option. It would be fantastic. And Sizzle actually had a really good idea. He says, get a spot on the show.
That's actually a very good idea.
I think that happen.
Yeah, we can.
We can absolutely make that happen. I'm thinking that's probably like a middle reward. We could do like $5 one. We'll pick like a day that you could, we'll bring down the show and we'll shoot the shit.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great, actually. That's a really good idea, Sizzle. We'd love to have these guys on. That's
being added to the list. So there we go. That's something else we're going to add
to the rewards. Yeah, I see Tony joined us in the comments here. What's up, Tony?
Oh, yeah. KT can hook us up with tech mats. So here's the thing with the tech mats and same with the patches is I know people are trying to help us out here, and I really, really appreciate that. Is that I've reached out to directly to the Chinese manufacturers, like to the people that everyone else is buying from. And the problem is that when they make PVC patches and they make these PVC mats, tech mats, they have to cut a mold, right? The stuff is molded from liquid. So it's a liquid poured into a mold that it cures, and then suddenly you have a PVC tech mat or patch. The cost of the patch is actually minimal compared to the
cost of the mold.
The cost of the mold itself. When we first got our patches done, the cost of the mold was like $30 US. So we had to pay $30 US just for them to cut the mold, and then the remainder of the cost was actually the patches. So it's
cheaper to get a second batch after that using the same mold. But I think we want to switch up our design going forward.
I do. I'd like to switch up the design, and we'll get another design made up. So, the quicker people support us on Patreon, the faster patches will be manufactured, hopefully. So I want to know people's opinions. I want to know. Love the idea of a podcast on the field, Mary. We have tried that so many times.
The connection is always shit. You would need a field that had like a solid internet connection and that we could hardwire into. The Wi-Fi never works. Oh, my feed looks like it's frozen there. No, maybe.
No, you're fine. Okay. The Facebook
I was just
is
standing really
up,
still for a little bit.
Facebook is definitely locking up though, on my end.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to do that. The live at the field. The best we can do is bust the cell phone out and do a couple minutes here and there on the live. But even then, I noticed like going back and watching the feed afterwards,
it's
like
garbage.
The connection's usually shit. Like it's shit.
Paintball fields are not built where there is cell phone coverage.
You know what? I've actually was thinking of how many fields that I've been to that have actually had like running water or electricity. And out here in the East Coast, it's like zero.
Yeah.
Like Seabreeze has no electricity. They've got 2 porta potties. They do have like a generator and like 2 tiny little ass solar panels that they use to run their coffee maker and their lights, their Keurig. Not anything else that like related to paintball. That's it. I mean, the only place, not Storm Warning Indoor had like a bathroom but no running water, so you couldn't use it.
The only one I could think of is Hillsborough has.
Hillsborough, you're right.
Hillsborough has the actual washroom with the running water,
with heated indoor staging area, with laundry. You could dry your gloves off between rounds, which we can and do.
Mary Burke # travel trip to a field with Wi-Fi. If I could find a field that had a Wi-Fi that could support this, because believe it or not, streaming takes a ton of bandwidth, an absolute ton.
It does. I even find my I switched internet providers and I've got shitty upload, and I think maybe that's why like my I cut out from time to time. Now I'm switching back.
Yeah, it's all about upload, and you need an insane upload connection.
I have 10 megabit upload right now.
When I was looking for a new place to live in September of this year, we were moving and we were looking at new places. One of my prerequisites was it had to have fiber optic internet. Like we looked at some places that were really nice spots, no high speed internet. I was like, nah, it's not good enough.
It's not going to work. Well, especially for you running the show, like you have all like we basically send all our shit to you and then you upload. So
yeah, we were actually looking at a house. We found a really nice mini home, beautiful mini home, brand new. I think it was only like $130,000. Like it's next to nothing for basically a brand new mini home for 2 people. But it had no internet, and I was like, we're not buying a house. Like I said, no.
And welcome to New Brunswick,
right,
and rural Nova Scotia,
exactly. So that was one thing we ran into. So I would love to do a show from the field. What we could do if we were really on the ball is we probably could just set up the equipment, record it, and then upload it. But then the problem is finding power.
It's tough to do the field stuff. I think the best we can do is bust the cell phone out for a couple of short live videos, and then
for now,
that's all we can do live.
Maybe Commando next year, we'll have some decent equipment that we can run. Maybe not do a live show, but we maybe pre-record a good show. But that also requires pulling us away from everything for an hour.
You just put, and that's my biggest one. I remember at Commando when we were trying to set this up, you were like, oh, I can only fit 2 people in the frame, and Guardian was on the show when you were there. And I was kind of like, oh, that's too bad. I guess I'm just going to go back to the paintball field. And I was secretly like, as much as I love doing the show, when we hit the field, I'm there to play paintball. And it was one of the things that I always laughed when we showed up at Operation N-War, and Tony, who I think is in the comments still, was like, oh, you guys are like here to play, not to do business. And we're like, no, we don't have a tent. We didn't even have a banner. We just went there, unpacked our shit, and played. Yeah. And that's a big one for me is that we do pay a lot to go to these events, and when we do get out there, we want to be on the field and we want to be playing. So maybe like an after show after the event, that's probably smarter too, because then we basically have the stuff to talk about. We can do a recap of the event and get players who are actually there to kind of hop in and give their opinion as well. So that's actually probably the better idea if we could ever find a field with a good enough connection.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want people's opinions. These guys rolled up and did work. Yeah, we did work. We kicked ass in the field is what we did.
We
But
tried, yeah.
I would like to get maybe some opinions on. I don't want to know if you're going to support or not. I don't want anyone to have to publicly say something like that. But the thoughts on Patreon is it doesn't cost us anything to do it, so I think we'll just leave the page up and see what happens. But if somebody had any suggestions for the rewards or the goals, or maybe not the goals,
What they would like to see, yeah,
in the rewards, then by all means let us know. Keep us updated. Let us know what you think, because basically the Patreon is 100% reliant on you. If you don't want to, if you don't like what's there, you're not gonna support it. So I want to make sure there's stuff there that you guys are going to want and you're willing to put your money towards. But there's also not just the rewards. Keep in mind that there's the everlasting gratitude of us.
We love you long time.
I don't know. If, we love you long time. I'll let you stroke my beard.
Yeah. And depending on your gender, something else. No, just
damn, beard's getting shaggy. I'm getting my winter coat in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Not me. I had like a week and change off of work, and my wife is away. She's gone, as I mentioned. This is like the only clean section of my house that you can see right here. Everything else is a total shit show and disaster. And so was I, but I had to go into work today for the first time. And I had to shave off my nowhere near what you've got going on, my patchy mustache and beard and that. And it bit the dust today, so I'm feeling a little naked compared to you.
Yeah, this is years of dedication.
Yeah, it is actually. Didn't we say when the podcast started you didn't have a beard? So if someone went through each episode, they could like snag a screenshot of your like 136 episodes of beard growth.
So when the podcast started, the first like 80 episodes were only audio.
Right. I should have known that because I was on some of those. That's right.
By the time the video had shown up, this glorious mane had been grown in. So, which actually, in this lighting, you can see my chin. You can actually see where my chin starts.
Isn't that why people grow beards, to hide the chin?
One of y'all is a chef, right? That could be a reward. Technically, no. He's not part of the podcast. The chef is not part of the podcast. Speaking of, why is his call sign not chef?
I don't know. Actually, that's right. He should be chef.
He should be chef.
He's self-named Dapper.
But you know what?
Which he is pretty dapper.
He is pretty dapper, and he's the only guy I know that has put pomade in his hair before a paintball game.
And his custom-made vest from PB Taylor is paisley. Green paisley.
Okay, he gets to keep dapper.
He gets to keep dapper. I know. And he's pretty up to do on his hair and shit. He's looking good out there. He's dapper, all right, but
yeah.
But yeah,
he's got that wicked looking hair that he immediately covers in a mask and a hat and a sniper veil and.
Yeah. No hat, just a sniper veil. But he was doing the tuck over, doing the big hangover. He's looking pretty badass out there on the field.
He was. Okay, we'll give him that. He gets to keep.
That's why he got all the more photos than you and I. You and I got like one photo each, and he got a whole bunch.
Right? Yeah. Well, the guy looked like he was out of a video game. Let's be honest here. He looked pretty badass.
Actually, do you know what was pretty cool, if I got to say myself, was one of the guys that we did meet at Operation Anwar was Vincent Salazar, who also goes by Death Element on YouTube.
Oh, yes.
And he put up his Dominion footage, which is something I was waiting for a very long time, because I got the most recent video I put up was when a couple of the Assassins players just came to bunker me at the door, one after the other. And if you look in the video, you can actually see Death Element sitting there with his camera focusing on us the whole time from outside the bunker. So for like months, I've been waiting for him to put out a video. And he finally put it out just this week, and it's really good. He's actually done it. It's almost like a 22-minute montage. Like, it's cut up.
Wow.
There's music. The songs like break and stop, and then there's like different sections. And that's from day one, and then he's got another 20-some minute video for day two. And day one video is awesome only because I make like 4 or 5 appearances, and I don't make any at all in day two, so I'm a little biased. But he catches that battle that I have with I think it's Akimbo Assassin, and And it's watching it from a third person, like me, you're always filming everything from your forehead. You don't really get to see much of yourself. So it's kind of nice to actually see yourself on footage with someone else. And Death Element, he's put out some really good content for a really long time. Definitely recommend him to everybody. He's also a very good guy. And he actually took, I think, one of the only injuries of Operation End War, which was someone threw a smoke grenade at him, and before it had fully started smoking, and it landed next to his leg and like lit his fucking pants on fire and like burnt the shit out of his leg. Like he actually took like a casualty, like a hit. He was limping, and like I don't even know if his day continued after that. Like he had a solid like lit on fire by a smoke grenade injury. So
he was a trooper. That man was a legit trooper.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Definitely puts out some good content, so I recommend checking him out. He's with the operational detachment guys, so ODSC for Southern California, but they're all over the place now.
They're everywhere, man. They're
everywhere. Yeah. Which is good because those guys always put on the MegFed only games. So those are the guys who really help grow the shit, literally.
Absolutely. All right, Sizzle. Sorry, I'm watching Sizzle. Me and Sizzle are having a conversation in the comments. So. Oh,
okay. I can't see. My comments aren't loading well, so it's all unit.
So for anyone who cares, it doesn't load up very well, but we posted the link to the Patreon in the comments, and I'm gonna put it up on the podcast screen as well, and we're gonna keep adding to the rewards. I think is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do. There, it's up on the podcast page as well. We're going to keep adding to it. We're going to find other stuff, other cool ideas to do. I like the idea of bringing somebody on. Once it would have to be like minimum once a month or maximum once a month per person. Because otherwise, worst case scenario, like
we got other guests and we get crowded.
Yeah, right. It get real crowded real fast. So it might have there might have to be a waiting list, right?
Ooh, make it really exclusive. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you have a reservation?
We'll have Jason with the velvet rope. You know what? The idea we toyed with, and I think this is good because Jason recently, or Guardian, has been. We always have our like group chat going amongst us. He's been using a lot of like GIFs or GIFs or I don't want to start that debate. GIF, whatever. GIF just sounds better. And
it's graphical.
Oh, I agree. But the guy who created it says it's GIF. So, the guy who names it gets to make it. But I'm with you. It is, the spelling is that way. But anyhow, he's been like answering all of our questions with just memes and GIFs or GIFs all the time. And so last week when we had the problem with his Mike, he was using the whiteboard. So I had the idea next time he wants to come on or can make it, we want him to be communicating with whiteboard and memes and GIFs only. So we just got to figure out how to make it happen. But I think that's going to be a primary form of communication for him from here on out. He didn't really talk a whole lot previously, so I think this is going to be his true form. It's like a second language after memes.
He is very fluent in memes.
He is. His meme game is on point.
It truly is.
On fleck.
I'm just picturing him just with memes constantly. It's gonna be great.
Right? Like that's what we need. We need his screen to just show like Jason with the whiteboard, and then Jason's got to be able to flip the screen to like his choosing, and then he can just throw images at us.
We can do that. I can make things happen.
There we go.
I can make anything happen, right? I can make anything happen.
He's the magic.
It's Kevin Money says sounds like my team in a group chat. Yeah, it's
pretty
haggard.
much.
It's pretty haggard. We're not an organized group by any means. One other thing too. Starting soon, possibly Sunday, officially, we're gonna branch the podcast off into gaming. So myself, this is proceeds and all that jazz. Like I'm not looking for money towards this because this is all coming out of my pocket. But I've just decided to start streaming while I'm gaming.
Some gaming? There you go. So what are you going to call it? Like MMP or something like that?
So far, MMP, Maritime Milson Podcast, Maritime Milson Plays.
Ah,
right?
there you go.
So I think we're gonna
Oh,
roll. Right? I think we're just gonna roll with Maritime Milsim Plays. Nothing is set up. I have no YouTube channel set up. I have nothing. It's gonna be an offshoot of this podcast because why the hell not? And it's gonna be.
I see you teaming up with Brian sometimes on his or
I already
Nightmare.
have. I already have. I've
Yeah.
already been on his streams a few times, just as a voice in the crowd there. But me and him are playing Call of Duty a lot, and he'll stream, and I'll chirp him the entire time. I'll give him shit the entire time. It's good.
He's actually streaming like right now, I think. Please don't
Is he?
leave us for him. Well, he was like right before we started. Yeah, I was on his stream there checking in with him.
Yeah, so looking at doing that just because I can. Sundays. Yes, Tony, I'll be on Twitch. I'll be on Twitch, probably be on YouTube, and for shits and giggles, I'll probably just be on like Facebook too, because I can.
I don't have any of that shit. I have a PS4. I can't really stream shit, so it looks like you're on your own on that one, buddy.
Less paintball, sad face. More on gaming is
Yeah.
cool though. Still dabble with Xbox One. So the reason why we're doing the gaming thing is because it's not going to cost anything extra to do. It's something I could easily do by myself and figure why the hell the winter months are coming and there's not a lot of paintball here in the Maritimes for the next like 6 months. So,
Sadly.
right, do some gaming streaming. We'll have all the details for that later once it's actually up and running. This Sunday, I think me and Nightmare are going to team up, do a co-stream. So, and it'll be, I think we're just playing zombies. So it's going to be a lot of us getting our asses kicked. It's just going to be a fun time. So that's some of the news. Basically, Patreon and a gaming channel is coming to the podcast.
One thing we got to do coming up here soon, and I know we weren't exactly prepared tonight, but got to get back to doing the news. I'm loving the news, trying to go through. Jason's been going through. We've got a ton of products coming out from independent companies recently,
we
companies.
do, and I've got some
Mr. Mods,
queued up.
Angler Customs. Like some of them are. Oh, you got some queued? Excellent.
Yeah,
because
so I've got a few queued.
Go for it. Let's dive in because that's pretty. That's one of the things that it's been actually crazy. There's a couple of people who are really coming out with some new good shit lately.
So let's talk
I'm
about.
impressed.
That's not his name. That's it. So let's talk about. Let's go to this one. We could talk about Epoch Paintball. They made that ridiculous looking like Uzi thing. Or not an Uzi. Looks like a.
TM7. Oh, this just came out.
Yeah,
it's like a Tech 9.
that's what I was. The TAC 9. Yeah.
Yeah, the number one gun in crime, or at least it was in like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. So yeah, looking at something like that.
And it's Ion internals.
Turtles and runs Zeta Megs.
Zeta Megs, and that's the mini. I think it's the mini on-off, or no, not on-off, just the rag on the bottom.
Yeah.
Looks pretty badass. I mean,
does.
once you put a tank on it, though, I hope it could either take like a remote line. I mean, you can because you can just thread them right into the ASA depending on the type you get. But still,
do wield that sucker with a remote line. Do what the assassins do.
yeah, that would be. I mean, that'd be a good marker for that. That would be a good one.
Right? Sizzle, I've already got Fortnite, dude. I'm already on Fortnite.
Oh, I got Fortnite too, but for PS4.
You suck.
I know.
I've also got Fortnite.
I've got a Mac. I can't even get like my Steam library consists of like Civ 4. I think I don't even think I have 5.
That's all you get.
Yeah. It's sad.
Tony's got a good idea. He says off season would be good for gear reviews. Tony, gear reviews would be something we would love to do.
That's actually a good idea.
It is a great idea. Here's where I worry about gear reviews. So one, it's overdone. Go on YouTube, punch in a product, and there's 5,000 15-year-olds who are doing really shitty reviews. So there's
reviews, and they get out immediately.
Yeah, and they're there because their parents buy
the
for
next
them,
day.
or because like the kids are just like they're getting it, and boom, they're there. Second thing is it's very hard for us to do because we don't have like a local paintball store to work with. I can't go to a local paintball store and say, hey, can I borrow this for 15 minutes to do a review on it? Or can I, work something out with the shop? There's no way to do that. The only way we could possibly even try to do it was to cut a deal with Ripple Industries and see if he would send us the gear. We could use it, review it, and ship it back. Shipping ain't cheap. when you're talking large packages like that. And then it comes down to like, is he going to want to try and sell used gear?
Well, and then the other thing is that then if you're being sent from the manufacturer, there's kind of the impression that you might give a good review, and that's not, when maybe you might not otherwise, and that's not something that we're really down with. Like if we find a product that we don't like, I want to tell you that I don't like it. Yeah. I don't want to have to worry about that someone's going to breathe down our neck that, hey, we sent you this package for free and we wanted you to try it out. Well, the only reason we sent it to you is because we wanted you to give you a good review and give us free publicity.
Right.
But then you give them a bad review, or not even bad, an honest review. And then it stops, and then you've kind of burned a bridge, right? I know Brian had an issue with that with PB Swag Bag. He kind of like gave a review one time that was like, if it were me, I probably wouldn't have paid for this one. And PB Swag Bag was like, yeah, we're not going to send you any shit anymore, because why are we sending you that if you're just going to shit on it? So it's, one of those things too where, yeah, unless we were able to go out and buy a bunch of gear, I'm happy to review the gear I have, because I mean I do buy a lot of gear.
Right, I've got 3 videos worth of gear. You know what I mean? Yeah,
probably. And I mean, we could break it in, but we tend to do like a little bit of reviews and say which markers we like and what we don't like, or what gear we're using and what we don't, kind of through the podcast. Mm-hmm. But we could consolidate it. We could do like a gear bag show.
Yeah.
And kind of go through each of our bags. So that's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, but I worry that the stuff we would be reviewing, I don't think anyone would be truly interested in. So I can review, like what I'm worried about is like right now I could review the TGR2. But that's been out for ages, right?
Yeah, my M5 is slightly new, but still.
Right, you could review the M5, but, if you go to YouTube and punch in Milsig M5 review, I'm actually going to do it right now. I'm going to tell you how many results come back. Right? It's just...
Put it in quotes, and then you'll really get it.
Nobody's looking for it because it's already done. M5...
But you know what? It's nice to give our opinions on it. And like we said, we do try to give honest reviews. Like no one's, I don't have any sponsorships. I don't really, I don't mind saying what's on my mind. And yeah. I always like to say I like to keep the show like HBO. If you have no commercials, then you don't have to worry about offending anybody, and you can say whatever the hell you want. So
yeah. Makeshift Pro Shop's got one. Smoke Nomad's got one. Ghost Magfed's got one. Dark Carbon's got one. And Milsig put theirs up. Like, I'm just going to the list of all the M5 reviews. We can definitely do our own opinion, but we're going to run out of gear real quick.
Yeah. But for a single show, I think Tony's got a good idea. It helps fill in the time in the off season, and we can break it apart. And then the big one is like we can say, like we kind of touched on today, what gear are you looking to pick up, complete the arsenal? Because as much as I've been playing, it's actually the soft goods I'm after now. I'm trying to find like the right setup. My vest is falling apart, and I'm like trying to replace it with a belt setup. But then, some days you're still going to want the full vest setup for bigger games. So what do I want for a new vest? I want something multicam Tropic, but man, can you not find a vest for multicam Tropic in under $200 US?
Crazy,
it's impossible.
Crazy.
It's impossible. I've been searching Alibaba and shit.
So that might be an idea though. Maybe we can do a gear bag day, and that might be something to do with all 3 of us on camera at the same time, like actually on location at the same time.
Gear bag
open. Right, and then we can talk about our gear, and that might be an idea for an episode or 2.
Well, we are getting together for the first time since
California
MML since California. No, I mean with like Jason will be the first time. And even Nightmare. So that'll be the first time since MML finals. Yeah.
We'll all be in one room together. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could all do some good gear bag. I know people have been bugging Brian to do a gear bag review on his YouTube channel. So that's probably.
So we can try and work something like that in there. We also got to do the, it's not a gear review, personal kit show and tell. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
I like the idea of a show and tell a little better. Maybe we could run with that. That way I can say whatever the hell I want.
And you know what, you tend to like. Well, you tend to like most of the gear in your gear bag, so it's not like you're going to be like, and I haul this piece of shit with me every game I go to, and I never fucking use it, and it breaks every fucking time. So it's like the gear bag review tends to be more positive because it's the shit that you've bought and that you like. Because I could do my non-gear bag review, the bag that sits in my closet that has all my like defunct gear, like my T81 and the airlines I don't use and the old mag holsters that I never, like all that bullshit. it. That's probably a better gear review. Is like not what do you bring to the field, but what do you own that you don't bring to the field? That's actually a good one.
That would work.
What do you wish you never bought?
Sizzle's got an in-depth field reviews.
Also, I mean, a little tricky as well because we hope to go back to those fields sometime. So, like, you want to give the honest review, but you show up next time and they're like, "Here's your bag of paint," and they just fucking drop it on the ground. Kick it once. They're like, "Have a great day, motherfucker." Every time you're out there, you get a little bit of splatter. Refs are like, "He's out." And you're just like, okay.
So in that case, what we could do is, if you guys wanted field reviews, what we could do is we could review the actual physical location. And not talk about the reffing or the owners of the organizers.
No, I think that's a good one. I think field reviews are very fair to do. I mean, it's not like I've ever had an experience at a field where I really would shit on it like terribly. There's some fields that I like better than others, but no field I've ever been to has actually been like horrible. But yeah, again, the funny thing is though, again, we can do field reviews, but unless you live out here on the East Coast, most of the ones you probably won't know and will never probably travel to.
Right.
But the big game ones, like we do hit Commando, we do hit PRZ. I've been to a bunch of the indoor fields in Ontario. We have gone down to D-Day and Operation End War and these kind of places. So yeah, I think that's a good one. I think we could do a show for field reviews and kind of go into what we like and what we don't like.
Yeah, we could probably come up with something decent. It would definitely be a whole show. I think we'd have to build up a handful of fields experience.
Yeah, start local and then grow out.
Right.
I think that's
maybe maybe 2, maybe 3 times a year is what we could do that kind of episode. So that's definitely an option.
You know what? Speaking of which, actually, Brad, I'm wondering if you can pull one up here. Check out Hypersports. Just built a brand new field. And it is like done up with like neon lights on the inside and the outside. It's outdoor, it's chained in. It's all done with like shipping containers. And they've taken the back half of like a cement truck, like the one that rotates, and smashed it into the ground and put tail fins on it to make it look like a nuke that's just like embedded into the ground. They literally just posted a picture of it in the last day or two. And I mean, they can do night games that are pretty much like in a green lit environment. Like it's pretty wild. Like I'm looking forward to getting out there. And, for one of those things, Hypersports isn't exactly my favorite field around. The field's actually not too bad, but in one of those cases, it's one where the environment there kind of encourages people to, there's no cap, or if the cap is there, it's like 15 or 20 balls a second. They encourage you to shoot as much paint as humanly possible. And that's a group that's mixed with 10-year-old renters and 10-year veterans. Yeah. So it's
yeah. So I posted the picture up there of Hypersports' field. So it's just sort of a close up, but you can see the green light with like what looks like black lights inside the windows, that's pretty badass. That'd be perfect for like the perfect setting for a zombie game. Yeah, and it's much bigger than that. And I do have a couple other photos. I don't know if you can spot them. One's like horribly edited with like a lightning bolt coming down, but But you know what though? But it's neat. It's like it's not often we get brand new fields out here on the East Coast, and this is an addition to their regular field, and it actually blends in. It kind of attaches to one end. So for big scenario games, one team could actually start in that new section of field, one on the other end. But it really looks like some really fun close quarters. And the one that it got excited me for is it looks like it would be a fantastic MML field. Yeah, it probably would.
It's kind of small enough. It's compact. It's close quarters. I think that's going to be a big contender this year. So that's going to open up in April. And I'm pretty stoked to hit that one up. That's going to be pretty neat. It would be. I want to try that field out. I was unaware that field existed. I definitely want to see that. Yeah, they just built it. It's like not even completed yet. As they said, they're just like that photo went up yesterday. And Hyper closes their season quite early. It wouldn't surprise me if they were like done already for the winter. Perfect. Definitely something we should definitely check out. If you could build and design your own field with financial help, what theme would you do? Mine would be a modern city. So I'd have like streets with cars, with buildings. That would be my like a straight up urban, like with storefronts, that kind of thing, like street warfare. That's what I'd be looking for. Nice. Yeah. Me, I'd be all over. I'd want that. Maybe urban. I don't know. I think I want more like abandoned industrial facility. Like okay. an old
I don't know. I
fight
hate to sound
range.
like cliche or something, but like a bunker or like
Yeah,
power plant, like nuclear power plant or something would be kind of cool.
yeah.
Something with a lot of big open spaces, but also a lot of really crazy like, crawl spaces and stuff that you could go through.
That's something I always love to do. Is that when Norwich, or if I'm saying that right, the field that he plays at a lot has like underground tunnels, and it like sneaks you from building to like up into some of the bunkers, and you just like get behind people, and these things are so small and so tight. And I'm like, man, if you could have a field, have just the whole playing field's up here, but someone's sneaking down below and coming up behind you. Like that's my thing. Is I want like lots of different
Angles,
laneways.
right? You don't
Like
want
when you think of a Call of Duty map, like, and I wish I could remember the name because it's from like 3 or 4 years ago because I didn't play any of the recent Call of Duties, but it's basically like a main city street that kind of hooks left and right at the ends, and then there's side roads up, and basically what it does is it gives you kind of an outside and a middle lane and an outside lane to move back and forth, and then you've got the buildings in between that work as other lanes because
Yeah.
the whole thing about a paintball field is it's got to flow back and forth. You've got to be able to move front to back. If it's a series of like bunkers that are built in so tight that your chance of hitting somebody is through this tiny little window, you can never move and you can't get from end to end and you don't get behind people and you can't flank people. So that's kind of my idea for being more cityscape. You've got more lanes for moving and getting to the other side of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I want something that I'd love to see a field that just that there's no. I don't know how you do it. I'm sure you could hire an engineer to do it, but just a field that can't get stuck at the 50.
Yeah, see, that's exactly it. Exactly.
Yeah, right? That's what I'd love
Even
to
if you
see.
had doors that opened and closed so that if you were stuck at the 50, you could have a door that's like one way on the far side, and now there's a new lane to cross through or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Because
Something like
that's
that would be
that's
awesome.
the worst, and that's what kills me about games that have too many people is that everyone just gets caught at the 50, and yeah, maybe you inch forwards. And I think someone else mentioned this that Dominion was like actually I was actually chatting with Tyler Murr from, or if I said that right, from the Talking Tactical podcast just the last couple of days, and he was saying those are like a game of inches where you get cracked on the 50-yard line. And it's just like you battle and maybe you take one bunker and push them this way and then they take the bunker and push you back. And it's like, it literally feels like you're fighting and dying over these like same couple inches and you don't get anywhere.
Yep.
So yeah, my thing is that like hallways, streetways, buildings that allow you to move forwards. If a bunker is just a box, I'm not going in it. If it doesn't help me move up the field, I'm not going inside of it. Every bunker should have 2 doors. So that way you can get in one side and get out the other. And that's like a minimum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The a perfect example of like of a piss poor design was a field I played at here. I shouldn't say it was a piss poor design. It was just it's how the field was made, or not even how the field was made, how the land was that the field was built on. But they had a road, an actual like road that cut through the center of it because it was a little logging road. So naturally, the field always divided on that road, and then it came down to who could dive over the road without getting miraculously taken out. Was how you got across the road. Like it was just trade and paint. That's all you did, trade paint.
Exactly. And MagFed, that's not fun because, you can get in a snap shooting battle with somebody and, they're only leaving this much for you to shoot. So you're not going to hit them on your first shot. You're not going to hit them on your second shot. You're going to go through a mag. And then you've used up a sixth of your ammo in these snap shooting battles or in these, and I mean, it's fun. Like, don't get me wrong. I love a one-on-one battle, but doing that all day and not getting the opportunity to, get behind somebody or move and catch someone off guard, like that's kind of where the fun is for me at least. So yeah, I think
100%.
fields kind of have to remember that
100%.
it's, a bunker has to be easy to take and you should be able to move through it.
Yeah. And you can see that in speedball games. The fields are actually designed. They look at it from the top down. They're symmetrical because it's a competition. So obviously everything has to be perfectly even. But there's an angle on everything, right?
Every bunker sucks in some way. That's the way that it should be.
The only bunkers that are 100% truly safe are the back left and right bunkers. And that's because you know that there's nobody behind you or to the side of you.
And you can pick a side, yeah.
Right. So, the stuff that the Hidden Hedgehog plays at is absolutely insane. They're basically like abandoned villages.
Yeah, man, that's what I did. That's what our big one is. We talked about we want to go Europe next because those are fields that you just don't get out here. Like PRZ is, you're right, something of its own, an abandoned mental hospital and everything else. I mean, it's insanity. But to get into these actual like villages, when we were talking about Detroit earlier and Michigan, I was like, Detroit, you hear these stories where, homes, like entire blocks are selling for like 25 grand. And I'm like, man, if you could just get the zoning to buy like 4 square blocks in Detroit and set up a paintball field on like old abandoned houses and streets. I mean, that would be killer.
Right.
But
And then you just have to be able to convince people to come play at your field where they won't actually get shot
and not
'cause
to
it's
like
Detroit.
destroy it at night. Yeah, exactly. People will just come and jack all your shit at night. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see full-scale, large paintball field, like full size. But I want someone to figure out a way to get real vehicles that are actually effective. Like I don't know. I've never seen a vehicle used in the way that it wasn't just on a track.
I don't know. Think of D-Day. They had a couple of those tanks that really, like, I got messed up by a tank that day.
Yeah. No, what
And
I
they,
mean
they
is,
definitely did some damage.
what I mean is like large open field game, trenches and stuff like that. I would like to see a recreation of maybe like a World War II trench network or something.
So actually, do you know what I think is going to be the closest to that? It was just this weekend, and I've been dying to get to, was Full to Gap. Full to Gap plays like a big scenario, and it's actually the same field that I've traveled out to for Platoon Leader. And a lot of the guys who go to Platoon Leader go back for Full to Gap because they say it plays like almost like a big Platoon Leader because the missions are very heavily focused. It's not just okay, there's 1,400 people here, rules go out the windows, we all just shoot each other. Like, people are trying to get missions done. It's a really big field that's got open areas, tight areas, roads. I mean, it's almost like a jungle in certain spots. So it's like, it really it allows for proper vehicle usage. And one of the things, I actually just saw a picture from some of the Commonwealth Expeditionary Force guys. People use Havocs out there, the grenade launchers or the Nerf launchers, because there were many tanks in play and many vehicles in play. And it sounds like that's one of the only events that I've seen where vehicles sound like they get used properly.
And I'd love to experience that. That's one of the last things I'm missing is a game with true vehicles.
I think next year, I know we were talking about trying to get a trip done maybe early spring, but if we decide to put it off to fall, my money's on Full to Gap because that is supposed to be a pretty sick event.
Yeah, we could definitely probably pull off a week off somewhere in the fall. I think that's doable for sure. Full to Gap will be a fantastic event to go to. I think it'd be an absolute blast. All right. Well,
I just looked at the clock. We've been for a show with no topic. We've been going for quite a little while here.
We're almost at the hour and a half mark.
I saw that.
So let's do. I just want to do a quick rundown of what's going on. So, sorry, losing my train of thought. I'm getting tired now. I think the cough medicine is.
Once you admit you're tired, your brain's like, yeah, I am tired.
Yeah, it's just wait a minute, and I'm just out. I think I'm running off. The meds are wearing off too, so I'm starting to get all cloudy headed again. The Patreon thing. That's one of the big things. I'm still very nervous, I guess, about it. I don't know. I don't like asking people for.
No, me neither.
But at the same time, I sort of have to be selfish on all our behalf, I think, and say that we do put a lot of time and time and effort into this, or at least I put time and effort into it. You guys just show up.
I just show up. I did have to buy a microphone.
You did have to buy a microphone, but there's time and effort and stress and I think you can attest to this. But this podcast has been the cause of many, many highs and many, many lows.
It's very true. There has been some behind the scenes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stress, a lot of time and effort, a lot of energy goes into this. And I don't think it's unreasonable to put the option out there to people who enjoy this podcast to maybe support us financially.
I think that's the best part of it too, is as we said before, it's, like, you don't want to, you do, right. You do. The option is there.
If next month, let's say next month we have no supporters on Patreon, it's not going to stop the podcast.
No, and one thing that I think, and you know what, to be honest, if that happens, I'm not even going to be really surprised, because not that I don't think people want to support. I think that one of the big things that we're adding as the rewards is kind of the early access to these kind of challenges, or kind of outside this little bit of footage. And no one really knows what the hell that's going to look like yet.
Absolutely.
So until we kind of get a show up that's, kind of showcasing the kind of shenanigans or whatever bullshit you want to call it, we're going to try to have a little fun. If it's enjoyable and people like it, you get a little early access, you get a little say, you might get to join in. We can include you in some of the challenges, put challenges out there for you guys. We might need you to, hopefully have a camera or some way of kind of documenting so we can kind of see what's going on. But, just kind of another way to connect on top of what we're already doing, giving you a few extra options, totally voluntary. If you don't, if you ever think of Patreon again, or you don't believe in it, the show stays exactly the same to you. So, you're actually even going to get that same content, this extra content anyhow. So Patreon just kind of gives you a little early access and a little extra say.
Yeah, and that's what I want to stress, is the fact that while we are starting the Patreon page, and while we are hoping for some support, it's not because this thing isn't going to survive without it. It's made it this long without it. It can survive without it. But it definitely would alleviate pressure and speed up some projects with a bit of extra cash flow, for sure,
and help us, maybe get out to some of these games that everyone keeps inviting us to. That would be really cool. We'd love to be able to get around, and getting to meet a lot of the guys like Tony and others down in Operation Enwar was awesome. You talk about KT Tran and all these other guys all the time, but it's good to finally get out there and meet them. And they treated us really well. Like, I remember for the final battle, someone just handed me an EG-18, one of like the $30 smoke grenades, and was just like, "Here, go have fun." I was like, "Yes, sir." So it's definitely nice.
We're always I get messages, not all the time, not on a daily basis by any means, but I'm always asked, "Oh, when are you guys going to come out? When are you guys going to come out?" You guys don't understand. It's like, on a good...
We're in the corner of a very big country.
Right. It costs to fly to Toronto. It costs me like $400 after taxes to fly to Toronto and back. If I was to drive, that's like a 9-hour drive.
You're lucky, man. It's like, 15 or way more. No, it's way more than 9 hours for you. Because we drove to Ottawa for D-Day.
Sorry, Ottawa is 9 hours.
That was long as fuck.
Toronto is 12 hours is what it is. Toronto is 12. And that's if you don't stop. It's not easy. And you guys, like everyone, you guys don't understand how small the United States is, like, geographically. You guys can drive across the United States pretty quick compared to Canada. And we got a lot, and you can fly so much cheaper. I get all these messages all the time. "Oh, you guys should come down and play here, and play in Texas, and play here, play in California, come play in, wherever." And it's like, I'd love to, but I don't have $2,000 for a plane ticket. Now, I'm not hoping to get $2,000 out of Patreon. That's not a realistic goal by any means. But what would be awesome is that, if we could raise enough money through Patreon, if we could have enough cash flow on a regular basis, that, maybe we could pay for the rental car at least.
A little bit of gas. Buy a breakfast on the way to the field.
Right, you pay for food. Just alleviate the cost a little bit, that we didn't have to worry about it, would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But like I said, if you don't want to support, the podcast isn't going to change. But with your support, that means I can throw more patches into the crowd without feeling bad. We can get more T-shirts made.
Hats made.
We can get hats made.
Whatever we can find.
We can get that cool stuff that we want to give away at fields. You know how often I want to donate stuff to games, to big events, charity, but we just have nothing to give, nothing to donate. It'd be awesome. And I'm not trying to like guilt anybody into this, but keep in mind that you guys get to log on to Facebook and check out an hour and a half show. Essentially, I know it's definitely not high budget by any means.
Yeah, it's not like tuning into Game of Thrones. But,
no, and it's barely qualifies as low budget. If anything, it's non-budget.
No budget.
But it doesn't cost you anything, right? So that's all. It's just, it would definitely help. It really would.
Yeah,
it would help a lot.
Much love to those who can. That's about it.
Yeah, and even if you're like, man, all I could do is $1 a month, I'll take $1 a month. Like anything, absolutely anything.
Yeah, much appreciated. Anything, yeah.
100%, much appreciated.
I I actually gotta hustle us here a little bit, Brad. My computer's hitting low battery and my charger's like far
right,
away. You're gonna
we're
lose
wrap
me
it
here
up.
pretty quick.
We're wrapping it up. So the Patreon is in the is